Hello, friends, and welcome to another episode of Coffee with Tea. I am your host, Tanya Tyler, and I'm excited because I'm going to connect with an old friend of mine, an old business partner, Mr. Mark Givens. So before I dive into that, I want to welcome Mr. Mark to the show. Welcome, sir.
Well, thank you, Tanya, and I'm happy to be here. Just wanted to just share with you that I have so much admiration for what you're doing with Confident Strides and actual the positiveness that you're adding to the community, not just with business, but with individuals as a whole. So, thanks for having me.
Well, thank you. You know what? I was reading light attracts light. So I was attracted to what you're doing with your business. We started off, and that's a whole other history. We can go down the road. But I want to welcome you because it's a pleasure to have you on the show. You have a wealth of knowledge. You're here in Cincinnati with us, and you've been helping the community get small businesses launched off the ground. So before we dive into that, can you tell a little bit about who you are, sir, and what do you do?
Yes, thanks. I am Mark Givens Sr. I am originally from Cincinnati. I actually grew up here with two sisters and attended Woodward High School and then Ohio University and some business law at University of Cincinnati. Um, we I lived in Atlanta, Georgia, for about 26 years of my life as an adult, and that's where I first became interested in business. It was before then, but that's when I had the opportunity to become an entrepreneur, and that entrepreneurship started with a medical temp service, and I have to kind of explain that a little bit because it was not a home health service. I actually contracted hospitals, nursing homes, pharmacies, even pharmacists. So I would supplement staff at hospitals in all units, whether ICU, burn units, whatever. Then nursing homes from RNs, LPNs, and they call them STNAs now. And then also pharmacists, that would give relief to pharmacists that needed off days. But we also did the drug testing on the sheriff's department, on the actual cops in the whole county, and all types of business. But it went well. I did that for a number of years, 20 years to be exact. And we grew by the word of mouth. A lot of support. People would bring in their spouses, significant others, and neighbors and whatnot. And we grew to more than 760 medical professionals. So that went very well. Then I had a ground transportation company, partnered with a friend of mine. And we started with two vehicles. It was a six-passenger limo and a sedan. And we grew it to more than 75 vehicles. We eventually sold it, but that business is still open. Then the third business was a publicly traded company, which was in the music and entertainment industry. We had our own record label and publishing company that was publicly traded. I still own the publishing company, and we actually had a famous artist that actually had a hit on with one of our tracks, and I still get royalties from it. I came back to Cincinnati eventually because my mother took ill, and so I came back to help my family support my mom. And so I've been here now close to 15 years. Love the fact that I'm here. And I wish that I had discovered Rise Business Solutions, which is real innovation and solutions for entrepreneurs 30 years ago. I found my purpose in this.
Right, right.
This is like the most beautiful, but I didn't have the knowledge 30 years ago that I have now as well. I don't know if I've been able to been, productive, positively impactful on any business at that time. But from the things that people always ask, what do you do? Who do you service? I tell them two things. I service those individuals that everyone else ignore. And the second thing is that, we help businesses succeed with knowledge. That's
Right,
it.
right, right.
That's I'm gonna leave it there because I
Well,
can talk about that for a million for a million days.
well, I want to also let the audience know this. I always have an unofficial question when I'm going to ask them to come back. So, Mr. Mark have a history. We're going to have a great conversation. I know, because it's always great to connect with the friends. But he actually helped me with my entrepreneur journey, and I remember asking him. And we'll start off with this question: Is like, are entrepreneurs born or are they made?
Oh,
And
you
that was
remember
question
that?
we've had that question before. So,
You
because
remember that?
entrepreneur seems to be in people's blood. Some people get it, some people don't. So again, let's start off that question. Is entrepreneurship born or are they made?
Well, that's something that you've heard me say for many years. Entrepreneurs are truly born because it takes a serious sacrifice to maintain your business because it's not going to go. It's not a storybook. It's not a 1 hour episode on a series, TV series. It's actually hours and hours of a commitment that if you don't have it in you, you're going to give up because there's going to be roadblocks, and one of the things that we always share with people, what do you think we do for you? And they give us all of these highlights of all the positive stuff. I say, no, the main thing that we do for you is we teach you what not to do. And then you do the opposite. Now, I'm not saying that there's not a one-off on individuals that can actually, learn and grow their business because it's just, something that they want to do and they're really passionate about it. But a lot of times you find individuals um, that may not, last in the industry because they chose something because their friend or their family member was doing it successfully. And that friend or family member was probably passionate about something that they were good at. And then they thought because they were making money, so I want to do that too, and it's not anything that they are really committed to. So entrepreneurs are truly born because it's not for the weak.
No, no. You know what? And I also want to share. A lot of the things we talk about, sort of, you helped me in my entrepreneur journey. And I remember I went to a speaking engagement. You were our guest speaker, and you brought up the whole concept that there's no competition. And it sort of talks about a little bit about like what you want to talk about, the strength of small business and supporting each other. So, what do you think? I'll open up the question with, what do you think when businesses are failing? What do you think they're missing?
Um, a lot of times it's mentorship. Small business owners, you have to almost, depending on what situation you're born or in financially when it comes to funding. Everybody know they need funding, but one of the things that you need as well that people don't look at as they should is relationships. You can get a lot done with positive relationships because there's individuals in certain areas and specialties that can actually help you and service your business because they can, and they don't necessarily have to charge you. They don't have to charge you top rate or even a profit. They can, give you a manufacturing or, price or something to versus a retail price. They can offer you knowledge and direction in their area of specialty. You got lawyers that'll do, they can write off a pro bono, service to you, and accountants, the same way. There's a lot of people that can do that. And if you don't have positive relationships, small business owners have a tendency to want to wear all the hats. And you typically need 10 to 12 people in different positions, from a receptionist to an office manager, to help you run your business. I mean, think about it. You get people say, well, most small businesses, if you've been around long enough, what you have, will say, I get up at 4 a.m. and I go to bed at 11 p.m. So I get all this done. I get all of this done. But then I always ask, from the actual times that you can meet with someone, how many days out of the week do you think that opportunity is there? Because Mondays are rough because what businesses are coming off the weekend. Fridays are rough because people take long weekends and vacations and whatever and don't want to be there all day or half days. So then when you got Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday, what hours during the business day are they available? Well, it's not going to be 4 a.m. unless they're a 24-hour business like a hospital or nursing home or something. But the decision makers are not going to be there at 4 a.m. And so you only get a few hours out of the day. So if you're trying to do the accounting and bookkeeping, the marketing and sales, the receptionist, you're trying to schedule or ship or whatever it is that you have to do, customer service. Well, it's only so many hours in a day that one person can do any of that effectively. So you need someone that can help you with marketing and advertising. You need someone that can help you with answering the phones. You need someone that can help you, with sales. You need someone that can help you, with meetings and all on and on and on. And so with it is that, so we tend to miss that, and wearing all the hats, we tend to hurt ourselves, we harm ourselves. because you miss opportunities because the meeting you had scheduled on Tuesday, you now didn't get to them for 10 days later, you know.
Good.
Huh?
I said this is a good point. I mean, like I said, it takes a little while for that to sink in. But I
Mhm.
think, once you're in business and you realize that, trying to take all those hats on, you're actually hurting your business. And I didn't learn that about until I like learned the difference between working in my business and working on my business. And before we get into that, because we can talk about that for a hot moment. I want to say Mr. Mark has been dropping some gems. So if you've been picking them up, give us a thumbs up, give us a like, let us know, maybe follow down with some comments in the comment section and let us know, because really, let's talk about that. We talked about, the lack of mentorship or something like that, or the strength of a small business is supporting each other. But there also is the difference of knowing when you're working on your business and working in your business. Can we
Yes,
talk about that a little bit?
sure. Well, one of the things that we want to make sure that we all do is that we have some sense of spiritual maturity. And I'm not talking about what your religion is or whatnot, but how do you see your business as part of yourself and your family? And how do you see your business in your neighborhood, in your city, in your state, as part of the participation of e-commerce in the country? Because it all matters. And so with that spiritual maturity, you have a tendency to make decisions that are best for not just yourself, but for the community at large. And then that's when you would then get that support, if that
Right.
makes sense. Hmm.
Yeah, it does make sense. It's like you see yourself in a bigger picture and see how your company falls into I would say, like, the analogy of the puzzle.
Hmm.
We're all little tiny pieces and we all fit into this little puzzle. And so that's why I said, which leads us back to the last thing about there's no competition when you know where you fit in.
Hmm. Yeah, because you can't duplicate yourself. Even if you were identical twin, it just doesn't happen. One of the things that we like to share with people is that we talk about scale. You know, um, our goal is real simple: is to grow and scale minority-owned businesses. Uh, and we service anyone, but we're unapologetic about focusing on minority businesses because our purpose is for job creations in the urban community. We don't have enough of that. Cincinnati just recently, with the help of the African American Chamber of Commerce and the University of Cincinnati, did a study the past 2, 3 years, and it increased some this year. But pretty much, a lot of people don't realize is that the Metro Cincinnati, the city of Cincinnati is 42% Black. The gross domestic product, the GDP, is like close to like basically around $2 billion, but of the Black community business owners. Now, when it comes to the gross domestic product of the city of Cincinnati, it's like closer to 142 to 45, $145 billion. So when you look at those numbers and divide it into that, it's like less than 1% of the GDP. And and then there's actually numbers in all of the surrounding counties that kind of the same thing. And so our community, our politicians, and our community leaders realize that that's a problem. And because the city can't grow, it can't breathe without improvement, right? And so there's a huge focus on set aside dollars and business relationships, for these minority companies, women, Black and brown people, whatever, right? But the biggest problem they run into is when our small businesses approach them or they approach the small business, the businesses are not opportunity ready. You know, um, I've met people that have been in business 10 years, don't even have a business bank account, don't have a tax ID number. And I'm not putting them down. I'm just saying that they just didn't know. You know,
Right.
you hear people that, oh, I'm selling dinners, out of their kitchen or whatever. And then the first thing I would ask, do you have the health department giving you a permit? You have at least a vendor's license. And do you have any insurance in case someone gets sick on your food? And it is coming out your kitchen, but you still need to be a legitimate business and not a hobby. And so then, so you don't have the opportunity to grow. And that's with anything, mechanics, working on your car in the driveway, same thing. So-called landscapers, but they're grass cutters and they don't have any, you know, protective equipment properly done. And all, so it's a lot of, so we try to help fill that gap so they can be introduced. But one of the things that we definitely push is that uh, is joint ventures. Is that put your equipment together, your manpower together, and so when there's get certified as a minority recognized business, so contracts are sent to you on a daily basis on what's available in your area, whether it's city, state, or federal government. We have a huge conference coming up this coming May next of 2023, and it's a regional conference. And so we've involved each of the surrounding major cities in our region: Louisville, Lexington, Indianapolis, and it's all being put together now. And it's going to be hosted here in Cincinnati. And so we'll give more information about that announcement. But the purpose is not just a typical conference. We want to encourage people to meet each other. We're going to purposely set it up to where people in like industries or industries that can support one another get to know one another so they can do business with each other, and go after, and impact that GDP, so you can do what? Hire people. You can grow your neighborhood. You can repair and refurbish your homes. You can do a lot of different things. So
Right.
that's what we're after.
Right. So it all sort of like leads back to again that there's no competition. We all have our specialty, and then we're stronger together
Hmm.
than we are apart.
That's right. The key is that, hey, strength is truly supporting each other's business, and that's strength, positive strength, not a bunch of negativity and it was their fault that I don't have this and this and that. No, we realize that we've been there, but what are we going to do together, regardless of race and religion? And that's what I mean by spiritual maturity. You have to, at
Right.
some point, mature to understanding that we all can work together and help one another. And,
Right.
and that's the key.
Right. Right. Like say you we're hearing it, we're growing it. If you're in the business, we're starting to understand that hopefully people are starting to wake up and understand the importance of collaboration and stuff. So great nuggets. I already took a ton of stuff away. But I wanna before we close out, I wanna ask you, Mr. Mark, what's the one thing you want the audience to take away from your interview today? If there's nothing else that they hear from you, what do you want them to take away today?
Yeah, it's don't be afraid of innovation. Don't be afraid to be yourself and announce that you are here, you exist. People can't do business with you or contact you if you don't let them know that you exist. They need to hire individuals like yourself that understand social media and podcast setups or whatnot. Yes, she's going to charge a fee, ladies and gentlemen, but that's okay, right? Because her Duke Energy bill is going to come in just like your Duke Energy bill is going to come in. Her Wi-Fi has to be paid just like your Wi-Fi has to be paid. And so just respect that, and it's okay to allow people to know that you exist, and it's not okay for you to sit back in the corner and you hope that somebody sees you. No, speak up. It's okay to speak up. It's okay to have a social media page. If you don't have a one that you're comfortable with, at least have the one. you know
Start with
you know
something, right?
yeah, a one pager website. It doesn't have to be 5-10 pages. It could be one page of just explaining your business, and understand that there's different practices out here that you can just take uh, you know nips and bits of. You don't have to recreate the wheel. Having a capability statement, and that's just showing people it's like a resume, but it's better. It has your picture and it's telling, this is what I've done, this is what I know in my industry, and this is how I can help you. And then of course it doesn't give the total definition of what you can do for someone, but what it will do is allow you to be able to start the conversation. And that's the number one thing, is connecting. It's connecting, because there's a lot of big business here and money. And just the last thing that people may not know, Cincinnati has the largest concentration of Fortune 500 corporations than any other city in America except Silicon Valley. And a lot of people don't realize that. I mean, we talk about home offices, Kroger, Procter and Gamble, Western Southern Life, Great American Insurance, Fifth Third Bank, Cintas. You see where I'm going? You never even think about that, and they're all here. So that means what? There's well-trained and talented people in this city.
Good point.
And then you got great presence by GE. You got Amazon. They got huge presence here. And so think about it. So there's opportunity not just to get a job, there's opportunity to walk in their door and solicit your business services as a subcontractor. They want you to do that. That's what I'm trying to tell you. That's why I gave the GDP numbers. They have money set aside to do business with you. So allow us to help you, get opportunity ready. You can find us at risebusinesssolutions.com. That's RISE, businesssolutions.com.
Wait a minute.
Uh-huh.
Are you taking my job?
Oh, no, I was just sharing.
Because that's my next question.
Okay. All right,
Where
well,
can
go ahead.
people find you? It's just
Yes.
like, hold on, he's taking my job.
Yes.
But no, I have
Okay.
fun. Yeah, go ahead. Like I said, continue.
Okay, well, you can definitely find us at risebusinesssolutions.com. And that's the website. On the website, we have links to our social media as well, which is Facebook, Instagram, and LinkedIn. Those are our primary social media spaces. And then you can also set up a complimentary consultation meeting. And it has a link in there that you can do so. And you can pick the time and date that you choose that you're available. And the first meeting will be just, a FaceTime meeting. No pressure. You don't have to come to our offices. Our offices are located in Norwood. And so we have a really nice space there. And I will say in January, we're going to start a online tutorial classes, business classes. We have over 217 modules that we've already designed and have ready to go. And so that's being put together, finalized. And we're going to start, discussing it and bringing it up in January. And by February, we'll launch and have those available. And it's going to be initially no charge. It's going to be where you just get on and learn some things. And we're not going to not just me. We have consultants and experts like Mrs. Tyler here and others that we would invite in, and they would do their own areas of specialty. And that way you can kind of see the level of experience and knowledge that they have.
Right. Well,
to
again,
share.
thank you. Well, like I said, I love this. And Mr. Mark, I love how you take control of things because, like you said, an entrepreneur is born, not made.
Yeah, facts. Thank you. Thank you very much, Tanya.
But again, thank you. Officially would love to have you come back, maybe take a deeper dive into another subject. Because like I said, this is just the beginning and they get to know you.
Would love to.
Thank you. And again, thank you for sharing your insight and your wisdom with us. It's been a pleasure talking to you.
Thank you for having me. And again, I have so much admiration for you and respect for what you're doing throughout our community and the impact that you're making. You decided to come out in front of the camera and not behind it, and bless the community with this platform. And so continue the good work and be powerful.
Well, thank you. Again, thank you so very much. And I want to remind everybody who tuned in that, yes, feedback is always welcome. Remember, all the links that Mark mentioned will be posted down in the description box below. So please make sure you check out those juicy gems down there. And again, if you've enjoyed today's show and picked up all the nuggets that Mark dropped, please give us a thumbs up, hit that like button. And remember, if you want to continue getting all the great insight that Mr. Mark shared and others like him, please hit that subscribe button over there. And remember, take things in stride, go with the flow, and create your own path. And we will see you back here on another episode of Coffee with Tea. All right. Bye-bye.